All right, it's our week 2 power rankings. Probably the most ridiculous list that's going to exist throughout the whole year because there's a lot of overreactions. There's a lot of like, this team didn't play well, even though they thought they would, and they don't deserve to be on the list. A lot of teams are in timeout, in the corner thinking about what they did or didn't do or how they've played. They don't deserve to be on this list. I'm looking at my hat right now on the camera. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve this.
Hey, yo, facts.
So Kwab and I had a pretty extensive debate about these teams. So it's going to be interesting. I don't. Kwab, do you stand 10 toes down on this list?
No, I don't stand one toe down.
I don't either. Have some fun with us. Let us know what your top 10 are. Let's do this. Coming at number 10, we have the Miami Heat for just the simple fact that they're over 500. Congratulations, Miami. You did it.
Heat culture is back.
Heat culture's back with wins over the powerhouse Charlotte Hornets and Detroit Pistons. The Heat have managed to stay above 500 and not completely embarrass themselves like some contenders that we thought would be. Congratulations.
You did great job. You did a great job. Yeah, we
did it.
we had a couple of teams we were just arguing over. It was either them or the Nuggets, and the Nuggets.
They don't deserve it. I'm sorry.
The Nuggets' 2 wins have been in overtime against the Raptors and my Nets. So and their margin of error has just looked. It's just so small right now. They look so rough.
Go in the corner and think about how you've played. You do not deserve to be on this list, Denver.
Oh man, so yeah, we like the Heat of 10. You know what I mean? They're playing the Knicks tomorrow. Can't wait.
That's like a rivalry game for the podcast because I'm a huge Knicks fan, and even though Kwab is not a Heat fan, he likes to throw Heat culture in my face for some reason.
Can't wait.
He just loves to do it.
Can't wait.
Kwab will be insufferable if the Heat beat the Knicks tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Or tonight because this is coming out on Wednesday.
Facts.
All right, and at number 9, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. They're 2-1. They've played pretty well. They lost to the Suns on opening night, but got it to overtime. James Harden has been playing well, and for a team that lost Paul George and doesn't have Kawhi Leonard right now, respect. I give them respect. You go on the road, you beat the Denver Nuggets, who's in timeout right now. Stop it. Stay. Don't turn around. Denver, you beat Denver. You beat Golden State on the road. There's 2 solid road wins. And, I think a lot of people expected the Clippers to be good. Not necessarily a contender, but a good, solid back-end playoff team. So I think 9's pretty good. What do you think?
I think it's pretty good. James Harden has been playing really well. So has Zubac. And overall, the team has been playing really well defensively, like with the pieces they added, which has helped them in these wins with Batum and Derrick Jones Jr. Just they have athletes, they have wings. Norman Powell has been shooting the crap out the ball. So they're right. We have them at 9. I'm losing
9.
my train of thought. I'm just because of the debate we had earlier. But we have them at 9, so it's a great spot to have them.
Yeah, we've had a hard time with the back end of this list. As
Yes.
you're realizing. We're not standing 10 toes down on any of these teams. 8, 9, 10 are just kind of I guess we'll do this. Coming in at number 8, speaking of which, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think a lot of this has to do with Anthony Edwards. The 2 losses that they had were against the Lakers and the Mavs, which is more forgivable. They were competitive in those games, at least. It wasn't like they got blown out. They're a new team searching, for a new identity. I think they're a good team. I think they're going to stay in the top 10, pretty much for the whole year. So for me, the 2-2 record is forgivable. They have a win over the Kings, which is a solid team. Not on the list, but a solid team. Again, like I said, 8, 9, 10. We're not going to try to sell you on these right now. Kwab, what do you think of the Wolves?
Oh, we enjoy watching the Wolves because of Ant. We just talked about the game they just had against the Mavs, and all throughout that, we feel like you're gonna get their bearings soon. They might need to have a couple of tweaks, but having them at 8 is fine. I think they're still a good team in the West, and as the season progresses, you're gonna keep getting better.
All right, let's move on to number 7. We have the Orlando Magic sitting at 3-1 with wins over the Heat, the Nets, and the Indiana Pacers, who are in the corner, not speaking, thinking about how they played. The Magic I like a lot. A lot of people are really high on them right now, with Paolo being ridiculous and obviously having their defensive identity. Jalen Suggs coming around. They're deep. I like this team. Well-deserved spot. This is the first team I think on the list where I'm not mad at it, if that makes any sense, or where I'm not how could we have this team on there, where I don't think you can dispute them being on the list. Kwab, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not mad at it. I like the Magic, man. Still a very fun young team. Like you said, they have their identity of like defense. Their two young forwards are stars or borderline or all stars. Their main issue last year was their shooting, and they seem to have addressed that. Like even Suggs is shooting the ball really well.
Yeah.
Adding KCP has been a great fit. Anthony Black has taken another step from his rookie
I
year.
love Anthony Black's game, and I hope he does well.
Yeah, same, man. So they look good, and they're one of the top teams in the East right now, and it looks like they're going to keep trending that way.
All right, let's move on to number 6. We have the Phoenix Suns, who I wouldn't say is a big surprise. They are 3-1. People have expected them to do good things. They lose to the Lakers in a game where I'm like, oh, you're up by 20. You blow the lead. Lakers come back and win. It's like, that's not a game the Lakers would have won. And that is definitely a game the Suns would have lost last year. So in my head, I was like, same old Suns. It's going to be the same thing this year. But then they bounce back. They have a win at home against the Mavs and the Lakers in back-to-back games, which I find very impressive. Kevin Durant is still an absolute monster. I still think they need to figure out late-game offense, use their point guards a little more movement. But, hey, listen, the talent's there, and you can't argue with 3-1. That's very solid. Coming in at number 6. Kwab, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. It's really solid. I'm gonna say the one player that was also very impressive. That's not one of the stars. Is Ryan Dunn, their rookie. Just defensively has been a monster, and also has been shooting the balls really, really well. Even though like I don't know what the number was, like his whole college career. I think he hit like 2 3-pointers. I'm exaggerating. It's a little more than that, and he's exceeded that so far in the league. He looks like the perfect two-way player to be on the type of roster that just needs like role players to fit a certain position, just to be able to hit shots and guard. And last night or 2 nights ago against the Lakers, when they beat the Lakers, he did a great job just guarding all up and down. So I like where we have them. Again, they still have some question marks. I still think their 3 stars don't fit, but it is what it is now. So hopefully they figure it out, because they have too much talent not to be a top team in the West.
I agree. All right, moving on to number 5. It's the Los Angeles Lakers, coming off really hot off the gate in 3-0. They just lost to the Phoenix Suns on the road. LeBron with one of the worst games I've ever seen him play in my life. I don't know if that's a warning sign of things to come, because he is getting older. And every time LeBron has a subpar game, it's like, uh-oh, is this his age showing up? Is this where it ends? I'm not there yet, not even close to there yet. I think JJ Redick has been phenomenal for them. Their offense is a breath of fresh air compared to what it's been with Darvin Ham. He's actually playing their best players significant amount of minutes and putting them in the best positions to win. Hey. I think as long as you have AD and LeBron, you have a shot, even though LeBron's not what he used to be. Anthony Davis has been great this year. Hopefully he stays healthy if you're a Laker fan. And honestly, if you're a basketball fan too, I would like to see AD stay healthy as well. So Lakers coming in at number 5, I think they're for real. I know it's early. Obviously things can change. But first impressions, I think we're going to be talking about the Lakers all year, and I think they're going to be in the top 10 for the rest of the year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I was really hoping they would beat the Suns so I could let off a tweet saying the Lakers are undefeated since they drafted Bronny, but it didn't come to fruition. Yeah, they've looked really well. Good, not well. They've looked really good. The actions and sets they run are so fun, and the amount of movement the team has, even though it has like 2 of the biggest stars, it's kind of refreshing to watch.
Yeah.
They feel connected on both ends of the floor, even though they, like you said, LeBron had a bad, like one of the worst games I've ever seen him play, and overall they really didn't play that well against the Suns. They still had a chance to win that game. It was still a close game, and again, that wouldn't have happened years prior. So it's good to see them playing well. So like you said, we're probably going to have them in the top 10, or you're going to stay in the top 10 throughout the course of the season.
Yeah. All right, moving on to number 4, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-0 with a huge win over my New York Knicks, who are in the corner thinking about what they have done and what they haven't done and how they should be playing better. You stay there. Do not move. Stay. Cavs 4-0. Cavs 4-0. Listen, Evan Mobley has been a revelation under Kenny Atkinson. having him facilitate more, is definitely taking some sort of a leap. I don't know how big the leap is yet because a lot of people say exaggerated things about how good he can be. And although I think he can be an all-star, though I think he'd be good, I don't know what his ceiling is. It's not that I'm saying his ceiling is low. I just genuinely don't know how high his ceiling is.
That's that Cavs hate that we're talking about in the comments.
It's not hate, man. We put him at 4. We have the Cavs at 4. The Knicks are not even on. They're not even on the. Jeez.
The amount of comments are like, oh, there goes this Cavs. Look,
it's funny because a lot of the stuff was just kind of like, oh, you're too high on the Knicks. Like, if you listen to the video, I said the Knicks have a lower floor than Knicks fans want to admit. I'm not sold on the Cat acquisition. The Cavs deserve to win the game. But me just outwardly saying I still think the Knicks are better, that's what caused everything. Once they heard that, it's just...
Yep. It's just, you just the key words like you were wild. And look, man, the Cavs, I said in a reaction, I think the Cavs are underrated. I liked their team.
Yeah.
They have a great backcourt. That again, they still seem to be trying to get that together in terms of being on the same page. But they have so much talent in the backcourt. They have so much talent with the front court. I think they're one of their biggest question marks has always been the 3 position, and they've been able to address that with some shooting here and there. I think Max Strus is still injured, so hopefully when he comes back, he just kind of slides in and gives them that floor spacing they need. I like their team, man, and I've always been a big fan of Kenny, so I like that they're undefeated right now, and hopefully they keep it going.
All right, coming in at number 3, we have the Western Conference champions Dallas Mavericks in at 3-1, just beating the Minnesota Timberwolves. I just think that this is kind of self-explanatory. They won the West last year. They're continuing their solid play from last year. They did lose to the Suns in Phoenix, but to me, you get some mulligans. You're not going to win every single game. Shout out to Phoenix for being a good team. I mean, it just is what it is. You're going to lose on the road sometimes. Luka and Kyrie look as unstoppable as ever. I think their offseason acquisitions have been working out well so far, for the most part. I mean, Quentin Grimes will be playing better. Najee Marshall could be used more in different ways, I think, personally. But overall, solid team. Probably the second best team in the West right now. Them and the Thunder, who we'll get to in a second. But I like what I see from the Mavs. I think they're going to be here all year, unlike last year where we just didn't really know how to handle them up until weeks after the trade deadline. But I think they found their identity, and that's one thing that I always say about teams. Teams that know themselves and know their identity, they are the best teams in the league because they can just always fall back on that. And the Mavs are one of those teams. So shout out to the Mavs in at number 3.
Yeah, I agree with that. Continuity and chemistry always makes a difference, and they seem to have their stars on the same page. I think the one thing that really has always been evident ever since they acquired Kyrie is that they're able to play a little bit faster with Kyrie, and then when it's time to slow down, they can put the ball in Luka's hands and slow it down, and it works out perfectly. And like we said before, when all else fails, you can give the ball to the stars, and they can get you a tough bucket, and that's usually a big difference maker during the playoffs, during tight games. So having them on the number 3, it's a good fit.
And they do it better than anybody. Like, that's the crazy thing. It's like no one can stop these guys. It's insane. It's like we mentioned it in the reaction video. Luka and Kyrie, a lot of it is go cook them type of offense, but it's like why would you do anything else when you can? Like, why would you? I don't know. And I like seeing motion. I like seeing sets. But the Mavs don't really run much of it, and they really just don't need to because Luke and Kyrie are that good. It's wild to see.
It's wild. It's just some of the toughest shots they hit. Like, it's just you can play the most perfect defense, and at the same time, it doesn't matter because they're tough. They take tough shots and make tough shots.
All right, in at number 2, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are 3-0 with an ass whipping against the Nuggets on opening day.
Check.
They have later followed that up with wins against the Bulls and the Hawks. Chet Holmgren looking like a beast. SGA looking like a beast. They look like a really complete team that doesn't have any weaknesses. And Isaiah Hartenstein just kind of sitting on the bench waiting to get in and improve the team even more.
Yeah, pretty much.
What else can you say?
Pretty much.
It's like the better the teams are, the less you could say.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they're good.
They're like, hey, look at that. They're pretty good. I think this was mentioned on another podcast I was listening to where they asked how many minutes have Chet, Lou Dort, and Alex Caruso played together, because they're technically, you'd say they're the best defenders are available for the team right now. In the 3 games, they've played like 9 minutes together, and that's it. And they they look so good defensively. That's the one thing about the Oklahoma City Thunder is like it's really impressive for a young team. It's like defensively they really get after it. And like you said, Isaiah Hartenstein is just like just in the wings waiting. When he gets healthy and they slide him right in, he's gonna elevate that too. So and also help them with like the defensive rebounding and even offensive rebounding. But Chet has taken a step. SGA looks phenomenal as always. They're arguably not arguably they are the best team in the West right now, and the expectations for them are very, very high this season.
All right, and first and foremost, in at number one, not much to say about this. It's the Boston Celtics, your defending champions, who have not lost the game, who wiped the floor with both teams who are supposed to pretty much challenge them for the Eastern Conference crown. There's really not much else to say. They just look unstoppable. What else do you say? We can say what we've said 100 times. You can't guard this team when they're on the offensive end. They have too many shooters. They move the ball too well. We're trying to come up with defensive schemes in our head to guard their pick and roll. No one has been able to do it yet. Embarrassed Tom Thibodeau, embarrassed Doc Rivers in the second half. They're just right now they're the best team in the league, by far the best team in the East. And right now it's looking like they have a one-way ticket to the NBA Finals, in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say, man? Like, no. It's been since opening night. It was just kind of jarring to see, like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're really going to go after it again. This looks crazy. And like I'm always going to bring it back up. When I asked you about that, when I asked you about Mitchell Robinson, if he would have made a difference in the Knicks Celtics matchup, and you were like, hey, man, KP is not playing. I'm always going, and to me, I was just like, oh yes,
right.
It's
ridiculous
at this point. Like,
they figured it out.
They figured it out. They
won the game.
They figured it out. Now I'm just waiting. For the weird when they hit that little bump in the road and have those couple of weird losses that might make people start questioning and be like, hey. Do the Celtics still have it? I'm just waiting for that to happen, but I don't know if it's going to happen. They look so good.
Well, they're going to lose at some point. So.
Are they?
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, that's going to do it for our power rankings. Kwab and I will be reacting to the Knicks Heat in a very, very, very contentious post-game show. I can guarantee you that. One of us is going to be gloating. Then after that, listen, put in the comments what games you want us to react to. Let us know your top 10 as well. We'd love to hear from you. Want to make this as interactive as a show as possible. I apologize to Cavs. No, I don't. After that, I stand on what I said. I stand on what I said.
He's
and
sorry.
I respect y'all.
He's sorry.
I like you guys. I said in the video, I like the Cavs. Like I couldn't have complimented the Cavs more than like I just don't understand. Like I said the Knicks were better, and then
you're stuck in the past. That's the problem. That's what they let you know. They're like, yo, we're not the same Cavs.
Fair point.
We're not the same Cavs, and you're not the same Knicks. That's the point they made. But we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Fair point. You can make that point without calling me a salty ass Knicks fan. All right. See you then. Peace.